Hi, hello, and welcome to episode 34 of the Whips and Whimsy podcast. My name is Zenith. My pronouns are they, them. I am so happy you are joining me here today. This is my YouTube channel where we talk about all the things I am knitting and crafting on, what I'm reading, and how life is going. If that sounds something you are interested in, feel free to come hang out for a little bit. Grab a snack, grab a drink, grab your craft. Let's dive on into it. Today is Saturday, January 17th. It was snowing when I woke up this morning. It is not snowing now, which I think is kind of a travesty. But it is cold. So there's that. And yeah, it's been a good week. It's been a quiet week for me. I have gotten a ton of stuff done, and specifically reading. I've read so many things. So stay tuned for the end if you are interested in that. In today's episode, we have 1 finished object to show, 3 works in progress, 1 spin in progress, 1 craft acquisition box, 2 different sets of book acquisitions, but don't panic, it's not unreasonable, I promise. And I also have a large reading update. As a little teaser, I have finished 5 novellas this week and gotten them off of my shelf. So we're going to talk about that. So stay tuned. Let's start off with a sock check. I'm wearing hand knit socks today. I'm wearing this one. I call these my raspberry ice cream socks. They are stroll tweed, and I made them sometime last year, I think in like late spring, early summer. I'm also drinking today coffee. I accidentally brewed it double strong because apparently I don't understand how my coffee machine works. So that's nice. We're working with it. It's still good. It's just stronger than I wanted. And I also have water with a flavor enhancement that also has B vitamins. So we stay healthy. Let's jump on in. So let's get into finished objects, shall we? They're finally done. I'm so happy. Yay. These have been on my needles forever. Or at least what feels like forever. I usually finish a pair of socks a week. This has been on my needles, I think, since I was in Florida for Christmas. And that is just too freaking long. So I'm so happy. These follow my standard vanilla pattern, which is to cast on 56 stitches on a size 1.5 flexi flip. I do 10 rounds of 2x2 ribbing for the cuff. I do 30 rounds for the leg, a slip stitch heel, however many rounds I need for the foot, and a square toe. The colors I used in this are Felici from Knit Picks in the color Sebastian, and then the contrast color is Knit Picks Stroll in the color Deep Purple. So they're done. They're done. We're no longer stressing. I'm so happy with how these turned out. I finished them yesterday. I was actually planning to finish them today, but the next pair of socks I wanted to cast on, I wanted to use the exact same bag so that things are back in order. And that means these needed to be done. So yay. Yay. And that's that. So on to our works in progress. I'm going to speed right along today. This is my donation blanket. We have added quite a bit. I went to work on Monday, and when I got home, for whatever reason, I was just irritated. I was like, everything is making me angry. I don't want to think a single thought. I need to calm down. I don't, like, nothing even happened. It's not like there was, like, drama that, like, made me mad. I was just like, I have been on for 9 hours and now I'm angry about it. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna break my own 30-minute thing, and I'm just gonna work on this, like, until it's time to go to bed, because this is zero thoughts and the yarn is soft and it's big needles and I don't care. And so that's what I did. So I got quite a bit done on this. I did just measure it prior to, like, as I wrote my notes, I did measure it. So we're at, depending on how I stretch it, because you know how knitting stretches, we're somewhere between 27 and 30 inches. My goal is to get to 36 inches. So we're getting there. We're almost there. We will get there sometime in the coming week. I have returned to my half an hour a day of working on this. But yeah, that's my blankie. Oh yeah, I should say this is Knit Picks Brava, and it is the color Just Peachy Speckle. So it is 100% acrylic blanket. I am using a size 7 needle, and the way that that works is I just cast on like 3 stitches, and then I do increases on every right side row. I do an increase like on each side, and then on the back side row I just knit across, and it's just basic garter stitch. And when I get to 36 inches, I will just start decreasing on each side. So I did realize this week, this is the 3rd quarter and a quarter blanket that I've done, and I did realize this week that instead of having like a right side row where I do increases and a wrong side row where I don't do increases, I can just always increase on the starting side and then always decrease on the starting side, and it will still be equal. Because sometimes you can work smarter, not harder, and then you don't have to pay attention to what's the wrong or right side row. I don't think I will switch over on this blanket because just in case it looks different. But going forward, I'm going to remember that. So, the next one I worked on, I was not supposed to work on it, but it was tempting me, and I was like, I don't care, I'm going to do this anyway. So, I have a cast on of the Whatever sweater. This is going to be the first sweater I ever make, which is crazy because I've been knitting for 20 years and I've just never done a sweater. I'm using all scrap yarn for this. That's what the pattern calls for. That's what I'm going to do. I am currently working through the leftovers of my Mermaid's Pearl Advent, and I have added, my stitch marker is here. I didn't put a fancy one, like you can barely see it, and I really do need to switch that out. But I have added 1, 2, 3, 4 colors. You can't really tell a difference between the 2 blues, but I swear they're different. Yeah, I've added 4 colors, and I'm like really, really loving the way that this looks. And it's so soft, it's so squishy. This is what the bin's looking like right now. And I've decided what I'm going to do for this project is I am only going to use gift yarn for this. So I have a whole bin of yarn that my friend Kaylee gave me last year when she sorted through her fingering yarn, and she knew that like I go through a cajillion years of fingering weight yarn. So she was like, here you go, and gave me an entire plastic tub's worth. And that has 1,000,001 mini skeins, including mini skein sets from Sewrella. So, which I've never knit with Sewrella before. So I'm really excited about that just to begin with, but I'm also excited because I could probably just throw the entire fade set into this sweater and it's going to look great. I have a full skein that another friend sent me, and I didn't write down which friend it was, and now it's been multiple years, and I'm like, there's 3 options. There's 3 options. Do I commit the social crime of asking people, are you the one who gave me this? So, current me knows if someone gives me yarn, I need to write in Sharpie who gave me that skein on the label. Because I have learned my lesson. But unfortunately that skein, I have to figure that one out. But I think it's like a purple and brown color scheme. It's really pretty. I think I'm going to use that for the ribbing at the bottom of the sweater. And I need to go through the rest of my yarn stash because I have some gift yarn kind of mixed in that I want to use. My plan is to use like yarns from as many different people as possible in this, so I can just be like, this is my sweater of like people who know me and just like really enjoy the crap out of it. So yeah, and it's gonna look crazy by the end. I don't care. My other goal is to use this neutral gray, which was also a gift from Kaylee. And I want to use this to kind of like break up the scheme between different yarns so that it still looks like it kind of has a cohesive thing going on. I don't know if that will actually work, but it's fine. We ain't stressing. So yeah, that is my sweater. I am using, I think these are size 6 needles. This project is a little bit hard on my hands, so I only add like one color at a time. Like I add a color and then I'm like, that's my work on the sweater for the day. like 20 grams held double that's all I'm gonna do on here. It's like an hour to do that. Only because it really does murder my wrists, but it's worth it because I'm gonna have a really, really cute sweater at the end. So yeah. Also I should mention this is one of my 12 cast on projects. So was my baby blanket. I decided, you might be wondering why I'm not showing the north down. It's because I did like 5 rows on it, so there's really nothing to show. I decided I was already getting burnt out on the north down. I decided I wasn't going to bring it with me on my trip. And what I did instead was I made a spinner and I listed off all of my 12 cast on projects that I need to work on. And at the start/end of every week, I'm going to spin it and I'm going to write down what it says. I will show right here what it gave me for this week. It is the same thing I just showed you. So I'm just going to focus on that in the upcoming week, along with, my usual sock projects or whatever. And that'll be my focus. That'll be what I work on. So I will add, in theory, one color to this every day in the upcoming week, which will bring me through my bin, actually. And then I'll get to go through and pick my other colors and my other shenanigans. So I'm very excited about that. Time for a hydration break. How you doing? How's it going? Okay, so the next project I have to show, I just cast on yesterday. This is going to be backwards, I apologize. But this is a pattern from The Sock Project by Summer Lee. This was a gift from my parents last year for Christmas. I'm knitting that sock right there, the Seafarer socks. I will show you if I can fold it appropriately. They look like this. Hopefully you're picking up the full pattern on there. I can't really see in my viewfinder, but maybe you can on an actual screen. But anyway, I decided it's a cabled sock pattern. If you couldn't see that, it is a cabled sock pattern knit on a neon solid color yarn. And that is the reason I wanted this book, because I also wanted to knit neon cable socks. And so yesterday I did this, and I am literally obsessed. It was my first time ever doing half twisted rib, and which is fun because if you've been following me for a while, I knit all of the things that I knit, I do inside out. My dominant stitch is purl, not knit. So this meant I knit all of my purls for 15 rows twisted, and then I did normal knit stitches. And yeah, so it took like 2 hours to do the ribbing, but I'm so obsessed with it. I'm so obsessed with it. And then I started the main pattern, which is this lovely, lovely cable, like ribbed cable. Oh my God. Oh my God, they're so good. I can't wait till these are done. I'm having this lovely little daydream of wearing this to interviews when it's time for me to like become a bookkeeper. And when they ask me about being detail oriented, I just like pull my slack like leg up and I'm like, I made these myself. I'm very detail oriented. So like, am I actually going to do that? Probably not. I know that there are people in the world who have done such things and they usually get the job, but I don't know. I might submit these to like my local fair though, and like in the fall, like my county fair, and see if they get ranked. But but as far as like the rest of it, I don't know. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with these. I'm really, really proud of them. I am resisting the urge to work on them all day today because I have some reading I need to do. And also my wrists are in a little bit of a flare up, but all I want to do is work on these. I'm still using my size 1.5 flexi flips, and I'm knitting the size small, which is 56 stitches. The pattern does recommend that you knit these on a size 2 needle because the cabling makes it kind of squish in more. I was planning to and then forgot, so I just grabbed my usual flexi flips instead of my size 2 needles, and I did try it on over my foot last night. It does go over my ankle, so I'm not concerned right now. We Gucci. So yeah, these are my Seafarer socks. They're the reason I got the book. Although I also have a spinner of sock project patterns. I think I have 10. I went through the book and I picked out, I think, 10 patterns that I want to knit. And so through the year, my goal is, as I set up my my project basket every month, I will also spin for a sock project pattern, and I will just make one like every month and knit my way through the book, because I am aggressively bad about using actual knitting books. I own them, and they collect dust, and I never use them. So I'm trying to change that a little bit. And yeah, I'm really excited to explore the sock project. And that brings us to the next shenanigan. I decided one of my unemployment hobbies was going to be spinning. I am still gainfully employed for another 2 weeks. However, I needed to start spinning. So I have yarn. I'm actually really happy about where my skill is at. I did not have that much of a skill regression. Would I like this yarn to be thinner? Yes. This is about where I left off on my spinning journey, though, so I'm not mad. Some of it is the weight that I want it to be. Some of it is a little bit thicker. Not concerned. I'm still planning to make the worm hat out of this when it's done. I'm going to spin up 2 ounces, make a cake, spin up the other 2 ounces, make a cake, ply it all together into something that's more like a DK sport weight, and then just kind of figure out like what needle size looks best with the gauge and go from there and do the worm hat. I may not even follow the official pattern. I may just be like, this is clearly a welted pattern, and just like cast on enough for like a hat that'll fit my head and go from there. But I'm really excited about it. In fact, I'm so excited. Actually, no, first, I will say it does hurt my wrists in a way that it did not used to 5 years ago, which like also hurts my feelings. Because I used to literally spin for like 8 hours a day. Because I worked in Ren fairs. Like my payment was food. So it wasn't like working. It wasn't like, an official thing. But like I showed up inside a Viking camp, and I would just spin for hours and just talk to people about spinning, and like let people stare at me while I was spinning, like while I was wearing, Viking clothes. Like that was the thing that I did with my life. and I would literally spin for like sun up to sundown. I would just be spinning, and I can do like half an hour, and I'm like, I need to stop, my wrists hurt. That kind of hurts my feelings. Anyway, the rest of the yarn is right there. That is actually a shower caddy that did not fit in my shower, and I had it down here because I was going to return it, and I was like, yeah, I need to like remember to go on the website and like do the return process, and then was like looking around and was like, well, I am going to need a place to store my wool, and hung it on my baker's rack. So I need to reorganize it so it looks less crazy, but like that's the new addition to the chaotic background that we already have going for us. So there's that. Anyway, speaking of spinning, I know we're a couple months out, but Tour de Fleece is coming, and I knew I was going to need more yarn more wool beyond the 3 hanks that I have, because most likely those will be spun before Tour de Fleece starts. And so I knew that I needed some other colors. I know the Tour de Fleece is coming. So the wool I'm about to show you, you're not going to see it again until Tour de Fleece. But there was a sale. There was a doubly good sale on Wool of the Andes Roving, because Wool of the Andes was 30% off, which meant that you could get 4 ounces of fiber for like $6. Not bad at all. But on top of that, They also did like a flash coupon for free shipping from Knit Picks. So I'm good. This is my Tour de Fleece yarn. You're not going to see it for a couple months. I have opened the box and I have peeked inside, but I have not actually taken anything out yet. There's going to be some crinkles. So I have 100 grams of each color. This is Garnet Heather. This is Haze Heather. This is Baltic Heather. Indigo Heather. Fjord Heather. Which is really similar. But, you know, ain't mad. Ain't mad. We know I have a favorite color palette. We know I have a favorite color palette. And I also got Lake Ice Heather. So, I got this money, and it was $40. So $40 for enough wool to get me through Tour de Fleece and then some. Like, this is enough. This should be enough wool to get me through like the rest of the year. I'm gonna be busy. So yeah, I'm not touching these right now. What is happening, I have a friend who does more spinning than I do. Actually, I have multiple friends who do more spinning than I do, but I have one specific friend who does more spinning than I do. And she's also part of like a spinning guild. Part of that means that she has access to things. So I thought that she had a drum carder. And I was like, I just bought all these individual colors that are very like monotone. And I was like, if I want to do like a fractal spin or something, I am going to need to find a way to split up the fibers amongst various different base colors. And so I was asking her like, hey, like, do you have a drum carder? Like, could I come over and like borrow your drum carder to make my own bats? And she was like, no, I don't have a drum carder. And I was like, okay. I was like, do you have like a blending board? And she was like, no. And she's like, but do you want me to buy you a blending board for your birthday? Because like that's next month. And like then, you know, I don't have to scramble to find something to find you if I just get you like a tool for that you will use. And I was like, oh, hell yes. So one of my friends is going to buy me a blending board next month, which I'm really excited about. And then I will be able to take these base colors and make some like really cool looking, you know, blends of yarn and possibly do some fractals with them and have some like really cool color changing and basically just like make my own spin cycle, but for half the price and, you know, 5 times the amount of labor. So, which I will have plenty of time to labor and watch all of Tour de France and have a great time. I don't know if I said this in the last episode, but y'all, I am really, really excited that like I picked a year where there's the Winter Olympics, there's going to be Tour de France, there's also going to be the FIFA World Cup, and I'm going to be being a bum at my house, taking accounting classes and having a million years of free time to watch all of it. Sign me the hell up for that. Yes, yes, yes. I'm also thinking about getting a new spindle for when Tour de Fleece starts, but I haven't decided. I do really like my spindle. So there's that. I've just been looking at the Turkish supported spindles and they look so fascinating to me. So we will see. Anyway, I am at the point of just rambling now. So we're going to put the pretty wool away. The next thing is I have book acquisitions. I have 2 sets of book acquisitions. I promise they are both completely reasonable. So the first one is I went to the library for the first time this year. I picked up 3 books. One of them is wrong, so I'm not going to show it. I thought I was picking up a copy of The Lightning Thief, and instead I got like a coffee table sized book, like that's technically about Percy Jackson, but it's actually just like kind of like Greek Myths 101. And that was not what I wanted. So I'm just going to return it back to the library. I did put The Lightning Thief on hold. It is ready for me. So at some point next week, I will be going back to the library. That's fine. But what I did get, and I am going to flip the screen. So whoop, We are flipped, and now you can actually read things on the screen. I have A Batter of Life and Death from Ellie Alexander. This is the second book in this series, A Bake Shop Mystery. This is set in Ashland, Oregon. Last week I was talking about Meet Your Baker. That's the first book. So that same kind of series. It's about a pastry chef living in Ashland, Oregon, where everyone is obsessed with Shakespeare and she is solving murders. So I'm locked in. I'm ready. I'm going to start this like tomorrow. I'm so excited. And then the other book I got is a manga by Junji Ito, and this is Tombs. I always want to turn things the wrong way when I'm like watching myself. Like, don't mind me. Anyway, this is horror, and it's manga, so it shouldn't take that long. I have a 3-day weekend coming up. In fact, I have 2 3-day weekends coming up. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I am hopeful to get both of these read this coming week, and then returning them to the library on like Wednesday and picking up the next Percy Jackson book as my next library read. The other book I purchased, I actually did buy a book this week. We're Not Freaking Out, We're Not Worried. This was a book that I saw in my local bookstore in early December when I walked in to buy stocking stuffers for my Yule party. And I couldn't justify buying it at the time, even though it's a good children's book, so it's, $12, but I was buying a bunch of other stocking stuffers, and I was like, I just don't have that $12 in my budget for like what I plan to spend. So I let it go, and I was like, I can check this out from the library, obviously. And then I think I got it as an audiobook on Libby. Didn't listen to it. It came time to renew it. I renewed it. Still didn't listen to it. And then I went back to the bookstore for craft night, and I was like, I'm just going to buy the book. It's the middle of January now. I can buy the book. So I got Impossible Creatures by Catherine Rundell. This is the first in a series. It has sprayed edges. Oh my God. One of my bingo squares for my card this year is to read more children's books. So I'm going to read the crap out of this. Hold on. I did not know this had pictures in it. Oh my God. I'm going to read more children's books this year because they have pictures and they are whimsical, and I am excited. I have some other children's books that I actually own, so I'll probably read those first. Don't remember if I've said this in previous videos, but I looked around my room at the start of the year and realized if I consistently read 50 to 100 pages a day, I can read all the books I own in my room. There's a secret stash of secondary books in my garage that are probably damaged at this point. They are kind of Schrodinger's books out there from when I moved here 4.5 years ago. So there's that. I need to get those out and see what the hell's going on with those. But in the meantime, I have my Impossible Creatures. I have some other books that I own. And yeah, my goal this year is to read all the books I own. I also made another goal after going to the library where this is more of like a fun challenge. It's not like I have to do this. It's more of like I just want to see if I can, where I would really like to check out at least one book from every letter of the alphabet for author last name, like one person, and read that book. So I made a little Excel spreadsheet, and it has like all the letters of the alphabet, 26, rows. And then as I read the author, I change the letter. Like instead of just having letter A, I have Alexander for Ellie Alexander. And then right now that is a yellow box because I've checked it out. When I finish reading the book, it'll turn green. I am also thinking about like counting how many books by that author, because like I might just read all 22 of Ellie Alexander's books this year. What are you going to do? Stop me? So there's that. I've been doing a lot of reading. So much reading. In fact, we're going to keep talking about reading. So since I talked to you last, I've read all of these. I read this many books. These are all novellas. These are the Sin du Jour series. I had already read... Oh, actually, no. I didn't read Lust Locked. I'm lying to you. I read all of these. I read all of these. I just put Lust Locked with it because it's the second in a series. The first book in the series is Envy of Angels. I read it years ago. Lust Locked I read sometime last year. The rest of them, I will show them one by one. I read this week. They're very short. They take like 2 hours to read because they're novellas. And they're so good. They're about these people who work in a catering company. This one was my favorite out of the ones that I read this week. They're about people who work in a catering company that serves the supernatural and paranormal communities in the world. And they keep getting involved in various conspiracy theory kind of stuff and like wars with demons and, you know, politics and whatever. And they're so good. They're so good. They're so zany. They're so absurd. And they don't take that long to read. And I love them. I have one left. I have the final book in the series, Taste of Wrath. I'm going to try to read this today. It is longer than the others. This one's 259 pages. The other ones are about 180. So, but I'm hoping to read that today. Batter of Life and Death at some point in the next 2 days. I do have D&D tomorrow, so that'll interrupt my reading time. And then Tombs, kind of want to get to it. I don't know how long Tombs is actually going to take me because it is manga, but it's also like thick. So yeah, that is my, those are my reading plans. Those are my reading goals. I also just really want to work on my socks. And I also want to add color to my sweater. And of course I will be working on my blanket every day as well. So I have plenty to keep me busy. Spinning is going to go back onto the back burner. One, because it hurts my wrists, and so does the sweater. So I don't think I should work on the sweater and spinning on the same week. That's an interesting choice. And yeah, I want to focus on reading and whatever. I am still at work. Next week I have a 2-day week because we have the holiday off on Monday. It is MLK Day. But then also, my company gives us a float holiday. One per year. You have to use it at some point during the year. If you don't use it, you lose it. If you leave before the year is over, like I am planning to, they don't pay it out to you. I have to use it between now and the 30th because that is my last day. So I chose to use it next Thursday. So, because we have Friday off. We have like a natural Friday off. So, yeah, I only have to work Tuesday and Wednesday next week. And then I'm off again until the Monday after. That should be a 5-day week for me, which I have not worked in ages. So we'll see how that goes. And then that Friday will be my last day. So, yeah, which is kind of crazy. Also, my accounting classes start next Tuesday. That's the other reason I decided to take that Thursday off so that I can do schoolwork and just see like what's hippity happening and have like what exactly I've signed up for, because I know I have 3 classes. I don't know how involved any of them are going to be and how much time they're actually going to require. But yeah, I'm very excited for the next couple weeks. I'm very excited for all my shenanigans. And yeah. Oh, final thing. My D&D is Sunday. I'm going to bring my Northeasterly blanket with me. If I do not talk about the Northeasterly on next week's episode, yell at me. Because the amount of times it's my designated Northeasterly time and I have worked on a different project is real. So I have to work on the Northeasterly. I feel bad that I haven't worked on it since last year. So yeah. Anyway, that is all I have for you. I am at this point just rambling. Thank you for joining me here today. I hope you are having a fantastic day, and I will see you next time. Bye.